Labor dispute resolution in Nepal, a comprehensive guide. Imagine a group of workers. They have a dispute over wages, or maybe it's about working conditions. How do they resolve it? In Nepal, there are several methods. They start with negotiation. If that fails, they move to mediation. Mediation involves a neutral third party. If mediation doesn't work, they try conciliation. Conciliation is more formal and government-backed. Arbitration is another option. Here, a neutral arbitrator makes a binding decision. If all else fails, they go to the labor court. The court makes a legally binding decision. Sometimes tripartite consultation is used. This involves the government, employers, and trade unions. Strikes and lockouts are last resorts. Internal grievance procedures can also help. Collective agreements prevent many disputes. Nepal uses a multi-layered approach to resolve labor disputes. The nuts and bolts negotiation, agreement, enforcement. Negotiation is the heart of collective bargaining. Workers and employers sit down together. They discuss their needs and concerns. They try to find common ground. It's like a dance. Both sides move and adjust until they find a rhythm that works. If the dance is successful, they reach an agreement. This is a contract. It outlines the terms of employment. It covers things like wages, hours, and working conditions. But it's not enough to just have an agreement. Enforcement is key. Both sides must follow the rules. This ensures that the agreement is more than just words on paper. It makes it a reality for workers and employers. From talk to action, the collective bargaining process. Collective bargaining is a process. It's not a one-time event. It starts with preparation. Both sides gather information. They identify their goals. They develop their strategies. Next comes the notice for bargaining. Workers inform the employer of their intent to negotiate. This starts the clock on the bargaining process. Then the real negotiations begin. This is where the dance we talked about earlier takes place. If all goes well, the parties draft an agreement. This is a formal document. It outlines everything they agreed upon, but it's not over yet. The agreement needs ratification. The workers vote on whether to accept it. If they vote yes, the agreement is implemented. Both sides put the terms into practice. The process doesn't end there. Monitoring is crucial. Both sides make sure the other is holding up their end of the bargain. If problems arise, they can use the agreement's enforcement mechanisms. And when the time is right, they can renegotiate. Keeping the peace, collective bargaining and conflict resolution. Conflict is a part of life. It's also a part of the workplace. Disagreements can happen between workers and employers. Collective bargaining helps prevent these conflicts from becoming major problems. Think of collective bargaining as a safety valve. It allows pressure to be released before it builds up too much. It does this by providing a structured way for workers and employers to communicate. It gives them a forum to address their concerns. But what if conflict does arise? Collective bargaining provides tools for resolution. These tools help find solutions that work for everyone. They keep the workplace functioning smoothly. Section 5. Tools of the trade negotiation, mediation, and more. Negotiation is the first line of defense in conflict resolution. It involves direct communication between the parties. The goal is to find a mutually acceptable solution. Sometimes, though, negotiations stall. That's where mediation comes in. A neutral third party helps facilitate the discussion. They help the parties find common ground. If mediation doesn't work, there's arbitration. This is like taking a dispute to court. A neutral arbitrator hears both sides. Then they make a binding decision. Conciliation is another option. It's similar to mediation, but less formal. Finally, there are grievance procedures. These are outlined in the collective bargaining agreement. They provide a step-by-step process for resolving workplace disputes. Section 6, Collective Bargaining in Nepal, the law of the land. Nepal has recognized the importance of collective bargaining. The Labour Act of 2017 provides a legal framework for it. This act outlines the rights and responsibilities of workers and employers. The act guarantees workers the right to form and join trade unions. It also gives them the right to collective bargaining. This means that employers are legally obligated to negotiate with trade unions representing their workers. The Labour Act also establishes procedures for collective bargaining. This includes rules for negotiation, dispute resolution, and strikes. These rules help ensure that the process is fair and transparent. Section 7. A win-win for everyone, collective bargaining's impact on workers and businesses. Collective bargaining isn't just good for workers, it also benefits businesses. When workers feel heard and valued, they're more productive. They're also more likely to be loyal to their employer. This leads to lower turnover, which saves businesses money. Collective bargaining can also lead to a more stable and predictable work environment. This is because it provides a clear framework for resolving disputes. This stability can be attractive to investors and customers. Ultimately, collective bargaining is about finding a balance. It's about creating a workplace where both workers and employers can thrive. It's about building a more just and equitable society. Section 8. The future of collective bargaining in Nepal: challenges and opportunities. Collective bargaining in Nepal faces challenges. One challenge is the informal nature of much of the economy. Many workers are not covered by the Labour Act. This makes it difficult for them to organise and bargain collectively. Another challenge is the lack of awareness about collective bargaining. Many workers and employers are not familiar with their rights and responsibilities. This can lead to misunderstandings and conflict. Despite these challenges, there are also opportunities. The government of Nepal has expressed its commitment to promoting collective bargaining. It has taken steps to strengthen the Labour Act and to raise awareness about workers' rights. Section 9. Making collective bargaining work: tips for success. Successful collective bargaining requires effort from both workers and employers. Here are a few tips. Communication is key. Keep the lines of communication open. Be honest and transparent about your needs and concerns. Listen actively. Pay attention to what the other side is saying. Try to understand their perspective. Be willing to compromise. You may not get everything you want. Be prepared to give and take. Focus on the long term. A good collective bargaining agreement benefits both parties in the long run. By following these tips, workers and employers can work together to create a more just and equitable workplace. Section 10. Conclusion: a fairer future through collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is essential for a fair and just society. It gives workers a voice. It helps protect their rights. It promotes industrial peace. In Nepal, collective bargaining is still evolving. There are challenges to overcome, but there are also opportunities for progress. By working together, workers, employers, and the government can make collective bargaining a reality for all Nepalese workers. This will lead to a brighter future for everyone.